Let's start with the first question. So would you share what you do in your daily work using GIS, and which GIS skills do you use in your role?
Hi everyone, my name is Jyoti. I work for Cambridge Systematics. First of all, a little introduction to the company and what I do. We are a transportation consultancy firm. We provide planning, modeling, operations, and even software solutions to different transportation problems. We work with both public and private sectors clients. That includes local, national, even international level clients, including Department of Transportation, Federal Highway, MPOs, and other clients. And even though my work is focused on transportation infrastructure resilience, I also work on transit and shared mobility and freight planning. And in terms of GIS, I would say I regularly used applications like ArcGIS, QGIS, and different web-based GIS platforms for spatial analysis, mapping, and data management. A big part of my work involves supporting resilience improvement plans. If you are not familiar with resilience improvement plans, those are now required under project funds to be done by different states and local agencies so that they can identify their vulnerable roadways and bridges and other transportation infrastructures, so that they can basically prioritize those assets and gets funding from federal level. And to perform these RIPs, we perform a lot of spatial analysis. We identify different water and other hazards and see what are the extents of those hazards covering and which particular assets are being affected. And much of this analysis happens in a GIS environment, I would say. Other than that, in freight planning and, for example, roadway level of service reporting, use of GIS is more visualization focused. I think you can present a lot of data, a lot of information to people, to your clients, but they don't make sense if they cannot visualize or see how they relate to real world or spatial in relation to spatial, how they be spatially. So we use some web-based platform to visualize those data. I use a lot of dashboard, and then even hub sites, build hub sites to view them.
I'm going to be honest, out of everyone here, I probably use GIS the least. So I work, which is a global civil engineering company that covers most of the built environment. And in my role as digital planning lead, for those of you who might not be familiar with the planning system in the UK, it's very different from your zonal rules-based planning. It's a lot more subjective. And my role is very much, how do we turn that, how can we incorporate digital tools, GIS being one of them. So obviously when you have a planning system that isn't zonal based, it's a lot more difficult to translate that. It's very qualitative, and my role is basically, the way I describe it is I sit in between planning and digital, and everything that falls in between basically falls on my lap. Now, my day-to-day work changes dramatically. I wouldn't say I've ever worked on the same type of project twice. At the moment, I'm doing a lot around how can we actually capture the evidence from policy into spatial data sets that we can then use later on down the planning system. So it'll be things like, we do infrastructure delivery plans, which is councils across the UK have to come up with a plan of what infrastructure they need to deliver over the next 5-10 years that will support the housing that they want to develop in the area. As part of that, right now, it's done on PDF documents. on Word documents that get turned into PDF, or at best, someone's got an Excel spreadsheet on somebody's desktop somewhere. My role is trying to figure out actually how do we work with local authorities to get people to change the way they collect that information, and how do we get them to collect that information in a way that could be spatially represented. So it's seeing the potential of where you can apply GIS systems and what other software you can apply alongside it. So that's a very short summary, I realise, but I will give everyone else a chance to speak as well. Thank you.
So I work for WSP, which is a large international engineering firm. It offers various services from transportation to cultural sciences. And I mainly work with the cultural resources team, which is things like archaeology, digging up artifacts, those kinds of things. And I also work with the environmental team. So that's things like soil borings, testing for different VOCs, those kinds of things. Mainly what I do that utilizes GIS skills is creating graphics and performing spatial analysis. The skills I utilize are just a basic understanding of how geoprocessing tools work and how their different outputs can give you different information, and then how to visualize that information in a way that is concise, clear, and well communicated to whoever's reading the map. I also, I guess, use a lot of online assets like web mapping, anything on AGOL, but really mostly just desktop applications.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to share a bit of my perspective. So my name is Wenhao. I am a GIS software developer for ENGEO, which is a civil engineering specialized in geotechnical engineering, environmental engineering mostly, here based in the Bay Area, California. We also have offices in New Zealand and Australia. Basically, my team, overall, our GIS department is supporting a lot of different kind of engineering and design projects for our geotechnical engineering. So that goes into data sampling, like what Rose just mentioned, soil sampling. We do borings, deep foundations, that we collect data and visualize them and set up automatic like data reports for them. And specifically, and also in addition to visualization through desktop GIS softwares, and web applications on AGOL. Specifically, my role as a software developer in the team is develop custom widgets. So if you haven't heard of ArcGIS JavaScript API, that's basically what I do. Is I would say like 80% of the time we are good, pretty much satisfied with out-of-box tools, but there are scenarios that we need to data situations really complex and nuanced that we need to develop our own custom softwares or functions. So that's where I utilize JavaScript, TypeScript, React, and based on the API that provided through Esri, we largely use Esri platform. On the back end, it's going to be Python scripts that to connect with different data and manipulate the pipeline stuff. So yeah, that's kind of some of the GIS aspects I utilize day to day. Thanks.